Oh, I gotta change that.
We're gonna watch into the presidential ticket. I'm not sure if you have something to do, but I'm not to check out. If you do, I usually check it out. Yeah. Um, Yeah, you're open to. Yes. No way, it's Chinese first. Not. I'm the conference. You think the conference. I'd rather that than in trouble, like, they would be screenshotting. Especially the final one, I'm gonna hop on it. He's like, I thought that was ours. I'm like, yeah. I literally was gonna sit down and I was like, why is it still here? It's not happening. Where did he go? That's true. But he needs Wi-Fi.
I need my phone.
That's seriously free.
Oh, don't be an ask question. I love water. Where's the mouse? Okay. Hey.
Tyler, whatever you're eating looks good.
Thank you. Belvedere breakfast crackers. Mention. Hmm?
Guess who bought those for the volunteers? I did. So you'll have those.
Yay! Thank you. I
I
gotta
would,
say, but thank you.
I said I won't have the pizza and the donuts because that would be a day of thing, but I I did other foodish items like mac salad or macaroni cups and ramen and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Nice. Thank you. 'Cause I'm excited. Like I've been telling my friends, I'm like, I need y'all to be there. And we're already got covered. We'll talk about this also too, so I can show you physically. But we have at least 3 people for Wednesday from 2 to 5. Alrighty. Thank y'all for joining us here thus far. We'll get started in about 5 more minutes. Just want to let some additional audience members trickle on in. But thank you all for joining us here today thus far. Alrighty, well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Tyler Carter, and thank you all here for being with us here today for our Executive Vice President and President for our Presidential Ticket Candidate Forum. Before we get started, just from general procedures and which we'll be discussing, any questions asked by an audience will be asked of all candidates for the same position with the same amount of time allotted for response, which will generally be 1 minute. And no candidate may ask questions of another candidate, so there be no way to give an unfair advantage or disadvantage to the candidates on the panel today. Lastly, following the forum, any statement about ASI that are factually incorrect will be addressed on the ASI website fact check section. A general formatting for today as well in regards to timing. Our BA will be keeping time, and with the last 10 seconds, she'll basically be doing a last finger countdown until she holds up a fist, where one of us will basically says, "I'm sorry, but the speaker's time has elapsed." Additionally, this kind of form will be uploaded on our ASI website, and just to let y'all know that as well. With that being said, though, let's go ahead and get started with our joint candidate statement, opening statement, basically, for both Natalie and Gabriel, please. Oh, and this candidate forum is, this opening statement is going to be 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you so much, Tyler, and everyone for being here. My name is Natalie Andrade Dominguez. We are both running for the position of ASI President and Executive Vice President, with Gabriel serving as Executive Vice President for ASI. It has been an honor for both of us to be a part of ASI for the past 3 years for myself, and for Gabriel to be a part of ASI this past year. I currently serve as ASI President currently and been involved the past 2 years, and Gabriel currently serves as Vice President of University Affairs for the ASI Board. We both come from very similar experiences with our backgrounds. We grew up in a low-income area, both from an immigrant family, so we both have the experiences of both of those backgrounds of really being able to connect with students on a very deep level of understanding the difficulties of navigating being a first-generation student, being a low-income student, being a student of color. We really being able to connect and understand the difficulties of navigating being a first-year student. So what we really want to focus on, if elected, is basic needs, campus safety, and financial accessibility. We believe that these are some of the most important topics at Sac State, with a lot of our students being students of color who come from marginalized backgrounds. And we believe that we need to focus on these areas to be able to best serve our students at Sac State. And with us being very actively involved, we have seen a lot of these issues that need a lot of improving. And with us having the connections that we have already had throughout our time at Sac State, being able to be in these roles already has already benefited us to be able to know what the students at Sac State need and really how to best serve them.
And well, thank you, Natalie, for beginning. Well, I just wanted to say and touch on what Natalie was saying about, growing up, we didn't have a lot, especially for myself, being undocumented. That came with this very unique struggles in a way where I felt like I couldn't voice my opinion a lot of the times because I was scared of it affecting my immigration status or just being too vocal and attracting too much attention. But I believe with this platform, I can make a really big difference, especially for all the dreamers out there who feel like they don't have a voice, who feel like they can't really be out there and be in spots of leadership, especially in student government. I want to be there to
Thank
show
you,
them that
Gabriel
they can
and
do it.
Natalie. I really appreciate y'all providing
Thank
a
you.
opening statement, but the speaker's time has elapsed. With that being said, though, we will be moving on to our presidential ticket question, specifically for Natalie, where you will have 2 minutes to respond. The president of ASI has an important role in setting the tone for the year. What tone would you want to set, and how would you go about setting it? Once again, the president of ASI has an important role in setting the tone for the year. What tone would you want to set and how would you go about setting it? You have 2 minutes to respond.
Thank you, Tyler. I think this question is really important. Being the person who essentially leads the students of Sac State, it's really important to be approachable. I think that's very important for someone who is in a role that has to represent the student body, to know their interests, to know what they need. There's a lot of different personalities with students who, for some of them, might be very difficult to express their needs, to express what they really need as a student at Sac State. And you have to be someone who is approachable, someone who they can trust and confide in with their issues, in knowing that they feel comfortable and safe with letting me know what's their issues, with letting me know how we can help them, how we can better serve them. With being an individual that a student can say, I trust that this person will best represent me in spaces that I'm not always invited in. And that is key. It's key when the president is sometimes the only person in a room full with administration, making very big decisions about our education as students. And they have to know that they have to feel comfortable with us being that representative voice for them. And I think that's very important. So the best approach that I would take and the tone that I would set is being approachable, is being someone that students can really trust and have full confidence in. And that can be difficult, right? Because a lot of times we won't always understand each other or really I won't have the best representation of all voices, but I think that's why it's important to be approachable so that people can feel that they can express themselves to me. So thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. I'm going on over to Gabriel, please, for your positional question. The executive vice president is responsible for assisting the ASI committees and work teams. What role do you think committees and work teams should play at ASI, and how would you help them accomplish that role? Once again, the executive vice president is responsible for assisting the ASI committees and work teams. What role do you think committees and work teams should play at ASI, and how would you help them accomplish that role? You have 2 minutes to respond.
Yeah, so I really think that committees and work teams are really, the heart and soul of what ASI does. It's a place where you can make direct change through ASI, and the role really is to focus on figuring out where ASI's resources and money and time should go, and they do that through working on the yearly budget, working on scholarships, working on grants, but they should also work on fostering new ideas for the organization and specializing on certain projects to make ASI more efficient. And committees should also really be a stepping stone for students who want to be more involved, who are interested in actually making a difference and interested in making a difference on campus where sometimes they may feel like they can't. That's something that I want to do as EVP is make sure students know that committees are out there for them and that the role they play is extremely important in what we do. They aren't just something you put on your resume. They're something that you can really utilize to make a big difference on campus. Like these committees and work teams are really what make ASI run. They drive our direction. They are there for all students, not just students in political science or students who want to be in government, for example. They're here for all students. And the committees are really diverse for that reason. And that's the role they should really play, is really just driving the direction of ASI and being there for students who want to be involved and make that difference on campus.
Thank you, Gabriel and Natalie, for both answering our positional question. We'll now move on to our general question, where you both are able to respond. And combined, though, you will have 2 minutes to speak. For that, though, cooperation is key to an effective board. What examples can you provide of your ability to work with and lead others together to lead others towards completing a common goal? And what is one common goal you think ASI should have? Once again, cooperation is key to an effective board. What examples can you provide of your ability to work with and lead others towards completing a common goal? And what is one common goal you think ASI should have? And you both have 2 minutes to respond.
Thank you, Tyler, for that question. I can start off and then pass it on to Gabriel. I think this question can really highlight how Gabriel and I have already been able to work together very efficiently, as we both do already serve in a role in ASI. We have been able to work very closely on some of our strategic priorities that we have under ASI. For example, Gabriel and I do work on a strategic priority together that focuses on enhancing any sexual assault, sexual awareness programs on campus. And we've been able to work together very digitally with campus partners on how we can best assess our campus safety programs on campus and what we can best how can we best enhance those programs? And we've been able to work together throughout that and really bring in the student perspective into that. And Gabriel, if you want to add anything.
Yeah, like Natalie was saying, you know, our roles right now have really prepared us for the roles we can take on. For example, as Vice President of University Affairs, I chair a committee where I have to work in a team with my committee members to really see what we want to do, really drive our priorities. And one of those things was advertising and really putting it out there, like the Out of the Darkness Walk, and fundraising for it also. So we were able to create flyers, we were able to put out statements, we were able to really promote the Out of the Darkness Walk and also fundraise over $680 for the walk. And like Natalie was saying, our strategic priorities are really vital to what we do in ASI, and that it almost forces you to work in a team. But thankfully, we have great team members, and the most important part is just meeting people with empathy and realizing that some people got a lot going on, so you really have to understand each other to work in a
Thank
team.
you, Gabriel and Natalie, for answering
Yeah.
our general question. I really appreciate both of your answers. Given that those are all of the questions I have today for you all, we're going to take questions from our audience now. So please feel free to drop any questions in the Q&A portion of today's candidate forum session. In the meanwhile, though, as you all should hopefully know, voting occurs on April 10th and 11th of this week, April 10th and 11th, which are both Wednesday and Thursday. So please, please, please encourage people to go out and vote. But even then, ASI will be putting on some kickoff events on both April 10th and 11th. The first one will be happening in the Capistrano Lawn area by Saigon Bay from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. There we'll have a photo booth as well as in-person voting for y'all to do any voting if online is not working for you necessarily. Even then, though, we will be providing you with other fun activities. Additionally, on the following day, we'll have nachos as well as other tacos, photo booth as well, and some other fun activities for y'all to partake in. Following the closure of the ballots, though, we will be doing an election results party that will happen on the second floor of the University Well, which is going to be located in the Terrace Suite. So please come by and hear who will be leading you in this next upcoming year when it comes down to student government. With that being said, though, it looks like we do have our first question, and you both will have 2 minutes to answer it necessarily. And the first question is going to be, what is your number one priority as a ticket for the coming academic year?
Thank you for that question. And this is actually one of my favorite questions to talk about when we are asked what is our priorities. And it will, excuse me, always be basic needs. Basic needs is an issue that all students at either one point in their life have dealt with. It doesn't matter your race, ethnicity, gender, it doesn't matter who you are. If your basic needs are not met, it is going to be very difficult to academically succeed at any educational institution that you're at. If you don't have food in you, if you don't have a roof over your head, if you don't have a place to sleep, if you don't have the needs to be able to financially support yourself through your academic journey, it will be very difficult, and it's going to make their time here 10 times more difficult. And we believe that the institution has to take on a better understanding of what basic needs look like for students at Sac State. For example, right now we only have one food pantry and a very small crisis assistance team at Sac State who deals with emergent cases for students who are going through housing issues or basic needs issues. With 31,000 students, that officially can't be able to serve all 31,000. And Gabriel and I have been able to really hear all the issues surrounding basic needs throughout the past 4 years that we've really been at this institution, and see the need for more basic need funding, for the need for more support from the university to help students really understand what basic needs even is and how to help them through these issues that they might occur. And some of the things that we're hoping on doing is continuing our work with the Basic Needs Center that's opening up next year, ensuring that we're staying actively involved with administration and ensuring that basic needs are funded at Sac State.
Thank you, Natalie. Gabriel, the question goes to you as well. We have 2 minutes to respond. What is your number one priority as a ticket for the coming academic year?
Yeah, so thank you, Natalie, for bringing it up. So basic needs is our number one priority. No student should have to worry when their next meal is. No student should have to worry whether they're going to have a roof over their head tomorrow. No student should have to worry about losing significant portions of their income because of certain things that happen in their life. So we really want to consolidate the resources that we have on campus and bring in new ones. We want one place where students can go and be like, hey, I don't know when I'm going to get my next meal. Can I get help with that? Or, hey, I'm having housing insecurity. Can I get help with that? It's going to be one place for students. We're going to simplify it and really consolidate the process. And because we shouldn't make it a burden on students who are really struggling. They're already struggling enough. You know, when we put a burden on them to get these basic resources, which we believe are their basic rights, to have food, to have housing, to have that security, we shouldn't put that extra burden on them. That as a campus, that's not something we stand for. And we really want to usher in this new era of understanding and really being empathetic with students. And throughout our time here, we've met so many students and talked to so many students with stories on how difficult it was being in school, or how difficult it was to even graduate because of all the things they had to go through. And we really believe that a consolidated, simplified, open, resourceful basic needs center can really help students.
Thank you, Gabriel, and thank you again, Natalie, for answering our first question from our audience. For our second question, and we're gonna sort of circle back with Natalie, please, of how we work to ensure that the voice of all Sac State students is heard. Once again, how we work to ensure that the voice of all Sac State students is heard, and you have 2 minutes to respond.
Thank you, Tyler, for that question. Again, another very important question, right? How are we effectively able to serve students if we don't know the needs of the diverse population that our institution has? And with my time in ASI, I've been able to test run some of the ways that we're able to effectively represent a lot of different student voices. And a lot of that is communication, is speaking directly with the organizations, with the clubs, with the students who are actively involved and are not actively involved, first-year students, transfer students. There is a very large range of diversity that we have on our campus. And the key is simply just speaking with them, is making time and going out and speaking to them. And that is very, it can be very taxing, very draining of time, but it's essential and it's very important to go out and show our faces, to show who we are, to show that this is why we are so passionate about being in these roles, is to be in front of them, talking to them and asking them their opinions, asking them what we can do better, asking how we can best support them, asking what do they want to see from their ASI student government leaders. I think that's the best way effectively that I have been able to see students really be engaged with ASI is us going and speaking to them. And another very effective way that I've seen is social media, is being very active online with the ASI President Instagram account. I had seen prior years that account not being very actively used. And I have made it a goal and an effort to really be very active on there to share the work that we're doing, what would I hope to accomplish, what I am accomplishing, and I've gotten a lot of feedback from students through online, and I think those are the best effective ways that we can really represent the students at Sac State.
Thank you. Gabriel, the same question goes to you as well. We have 2 minutes to respond. How will you work to ensure that the voice of all Sac State students is heard?
Yeah, well, thank you, Tyler, for the question. I think the number one thing we can do is really adapt to the student body and make sure that they know we're really out there for them, whether that is doing class presentations, whether that's meeting with clubs, opening a new line of communication if they feel as if the current ones that we do have are not enough. We can work towards making a new one. So we can have a open website forum where they can go. We can publish on social media. We can really be out there for those students. And another big thing that we want to focus on and make sure that they are heard is meeting them within their cultural context. You know, diversity isn't just a checkbox that we can just say about Sac State. It's what makes Sac State culture is our diversity. It's what makes the campus beautiful, and really meeting people within their cultural context and trying to understand through empathy and learning is the biggest way we can really meet those students and understand their struggles. And that's something I've dealt with as well, where people feel as if there's a cultural divide between students, student leadership, or admin. And I really want to build those bridges between students because I know how it feels to feel as if you don't have a voice, to feel as if you're not being properly represented. And that's something I really want to fix.
Thank you both for answering our questions from our audience. Given that that is all of the questions in which we received, we're going to move on and do our closing statement. This is going to be a joint closing statement from you both, where you have 4 minutes to end our session for today.
So thank you so much, Tyler. Natalie did the opening statement, so I really want to do the closing one. So I just want to reiterate our dedication to addressing the critical issues facing Sac State and the Sac State community. There's a large disconnect between student government and our students. Oftentimes they feel as if their needs aren't being met, but that's why we're here. We're here to represent them. We're here to listen to them because we really care about them. You know, growing up in the situations that we have, growing up and not having everything, you know, not having the best educational opportunities, that's what really makes us passionate about being student leaders, is acknowledging our past and realizing that we can make a difference for others. You know, as college students, it's already hard enough to get here at this point, and the finish line's just right there. But if we can eliminate some barriers for students wanting to cross that finish line, that's what makes us passionate. That's why we're really here. We want to expand on the resources that we do have and really consolidate the ones that may be fragmented. For example, the equity and affinity centers. You know, we've worked really hard as ASI to open up new ones, and we're working now to consolidate ones we have and make sure people know where they actually are, what these centers do, what type of resources they have to better support the student population as a whole. And I believe our leadership experiences with ASI and with various other clubs, like for myself, being the vice president of the honors program and being involved with various clubs like Best Buddies, College Stems, and Brown Issues, is really going to allow us to amplify the voices of those who often feel unheard. We have, you know, we had that experience being a liaison between students and student government, and now in these positions of leadership, I feel that we can really, really make a difference. And I hope we can get the support on Wednesday and Thursday. And I really want to emphasize our number one goal, which is basic needs. You know, no student should have to worry about when their next meal is, whether they're gonna have a roof over their head, or really worry about any overarching basic needs. You know, as a campus, we really want to focus on allowing students to learn, not them having to worry about their basic needs. And we're going to focus on prioritizing those basic needs and really cultivate an environment characterized by inclusivity, collaboration, and empowering those students who feel like they don't have a voice. And we want to really make a campus where every single student feels valued, every student feels empowered to succeed and get across that finish line and graduate and do amazing things on this campus.
Alrighty, well, thank you all again for joining us here today for our Presidential Ticket Candidate Forum. Please, please, please don't forget April 10th and 11th for voting. And if you know anyone who's looking for volunteer hours, please shoot them our way. We are looking for volunteers still for in-person polling site. But with that being said, though, have a beautiful day, everyone, and thank you again for joining.
Thank you so much, Tyler, for your time.
Thank you.